Sophia,
Zoe,
Liana, Avni, and Asta from Hong Kong. What you have just seen is real, and it is reality, one that we aim to change.
have you ever given any thought to the challenges and adversities faced by disabled children every day?
Children with disabilities often struggle to gain access to education, with a 24% less likelihood of receiving early stimulation and 42% less chance of achieving foundational reading and numeracy skills. Their likelihood of never attending school is almost 50% higher than those without disabilities.
Education, the basis for empowerment and the security for the future, isn't provided to many disabled children like it's supposed to.
Therefore, we chose to look at SDG4, specifically Target 4.5, which is to ensure equal access to all levels of education, including persons with disabilities.
I actually stumbled upon this issue and chose this target after a simple conversation with my mom's friend. She's a retired special needs children educator and worked with children with autism, behavioral disabilities, cerebral palsy, and more. She told me about her life story when I went to go deliver sweets one day, and it was very interesting. But one thing that really stuck with me were her anecdotes about her time teaching. The first issue she pointed out to me was that children with different disabilities, aged 5 to 13, some of them nonverbal, were forced into one classroom, forced to interact and learn. She then brought up how some of the staff were a little bit untrained and didn't know how to deal with children with tantrums, which is common for children with behavioral disabilities, and they didn't know how to address these types of children's needs. And the last and biggest problem for her was that there was a lack of time and money investment into this curriculum. There wasn't enough knowledge about how to talk to these children and how to give them the access to education that they deserve. So this is a problem that I saw, and I thought we needed to change it.
We began with a deep delve into research. We found out families raising children with disabilities are more vulnerable to poverty due to disability-associated costs, such as specialist care, and 61% of these families struggle to pay their monthly bills. This leads to children with disabilities facing higher rates of multidimensional poverty compared to children without disabilities, with countless experiencing on average 3 to 5 deprivations. In the blink of an eye, children can lose their opportunities and more so their rights to essential services like education.
Additionally, according to UNESCO, children with visual, hearing, physical, or intellectual disabilities are 2.5 times more likely not to attend school at all. By the time disabled children reach adulthood, it's already too late. Their lack of early education causes the high barriers to employment to rise even further. Many can't find a job to support and fulfill both their basic necessities and additional needs. The World Bank has estimated that people with disabilities may account for as many as 1 in 5 of the world's poorest people.
The cycle of disabled children losing their rights to basic necessities, care, and education continues indefinitely. Therefore, we must ensure that children with disabilities throughout the globe receive equal opportunities to accessible and inclusive services. Their futures depend on this, and like any other child, they are our future.
In this day and age of technological advancement, we decided to experiment with an app. This is tailored towards special needs children from the ages 4 to 11, so basically primary students. Through this app, we aim to empower disabled children through teaching them English, maths, and science.
With our idea now born, we set out to research how we could make it audience-specific. First, we considered who our app would target, specifically seeing that disabilities can be split into 4 main groups: behavioral or emotional disabilities, sensory impaired disabilities, physical disabilities, and developmental disabilities. We chose to target behavioral and developmental disabilities, but through subtitles or engaging content, this app could easily work for children with sensory impaired disabilities.
Regarding content specifically, research indicates that for children with learning disabilities, it is key to use diagrams, graphics, and pictures to augment new information for their brains to hold on to. It is also important to provide choice-making opportunities and sensory free time to incentivize and hold the child's attention. Furthermore, after interviewing Asta's mum's friend formally, she informed us that with these children, visual arts always kept them engaged, but for learning especially, specific worksheets work nicely to consolidate knowledge.
Color is another key part of an app and an area we thoroughly researched. Children with these types of disabilities can face sensory overload, leading to tantrums because of too many saturated and bright colors. So we chose a muted color palette with no harsh pure whites or blacks, along with pops of color to add to the multicolored palette that many children enjoy.
From this point, we crafted a sketch of the most important scenes of the app for it to work. This skeleton made the basis for our current mockup. This app was coded as a native app, an app that can be downloaded on both iOS and Android for free. This is our home page. It is evident that we went for a space theme for the whole app, with an overall progress bar across all the 3 subjects. When 5 levels of each subject is completed, the rocket advances to the star and the student is rewarded with a coloring sheet that they can fill in whenever.
We can now advance onto the math page, where it has a traveling rocket that accompanies the student through each level. When we click on the planet the rocket is currently stationed at, we are prompted to watch a short, engaging animated lesson, which is completed by a quick worksheet to test knowledge.
We recognize the strengths of our app as it can be downloaded by all mobile devices. Seeing that 7.21 billion people in our world right now have access to a smartphone, this idea is accessible to people all over the world.
For the future, we hope to plan every 3 months. Seeing that our curriculum is Hong Kong-based, we want to start small and change our home before expanding globally. According to the Hong Kong Journal of Pediatrics, there are over 57,000 children with special education needs.
We wish to target 1% of this population, being 570 downloads in the first quarter. If this isn't met in the first quarter after publishing, we want to invest in promotional tools. But even now, we can use Instagram as a means of promotion, as we all have experience in design for Instagram.
The first publication will only have resources for Year 1 students, so from then on we will be working to expand to all primary school years. The possible need for money would be as the app expands. There may be some limitations in our technological abilities, so it is likely we will require external assistance. Additionally, we will need help translating into different languages such as traditional Chinese.
However, like all proposals, our solution has some limitations. If children find it engaging, they don't have the opportunity to socialize, which is a key part of their developing of communication skills. To combat this, we'll implement time limits.
Another clash is if our app isn't engaging enough. To assess this, we will trial the app with users, such as my cousin, who is currently diagnosed with autism, who is 8 years of age.